As the visionary philosopher's Chumbawamba once said, "I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down." And it seems that those words resonated with certain video game bosses, as after you beat them, they turn up again. And they also subscribe to the teachings of French intellectuals Daft Punk, returning harder, better, faster and stronger. Here then are the bosses that refused to be beaten and came back for more. Like me after I failed my philosophy degree. Beware spoilers for the following.
Thought you'd just slip out before dinner was done?
If there's one thing you can say about Jack Baker, it's that he's a very attentive host.
His boy's got to eat. He got to have his supper. Come here, boy. Let's do this.
Lovely. Thanks. I'm gonna roast this place on TripAdvisor. Jack's very interested in Resident Evil 7 protagonist Ethan, so much so that you bump into him many times, with each encounter getting more ridiculous than the last, as Jack really doesn't want Ethan to cut his stay short. The host repeatedly bursts through the walls. No kettle. After a terrifying game of cat and mouse, Jack finally catches up to you in the garage. This first boss fight culminates in a homicidal three-point turn, which doesn't end well for Mr. Baker.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you for a ride. No!
Whoa! Oh well, at least he's done and dusted now.
Oh boy, now look what you've done, mother.
Oh. Yes, Jack returns with a vengeance, and more importantly, a scissor-style arrangement of chainsaws that surely isn't regulation tree-felling equipment.
Groovy. That's not groovy.
When you finally vanquish Jack here, it's such a relief, and oh no, wait, here he is later in the game, but as a terrifying, slimy moss monster. With at least 3 more eyes than he used to have, and a lot more gunky tendrils, Jack goes from scary wall-destroying man to scary multiple-story-destroying monster, who you can only finally defeat with an injection of serum. Had to provide own serum. Ample parking. 3 stars.
It's normal to want to make your family proud of you, so if you see mine, please tell them YouTube is the name of a very prestigious hospital where I am chief surgeon. But Genichiro Ashina, your primary enemy and the rock-hard sword-em-up Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, really takes the concept of impressing his folks too far when he plots to kidnap a young boy to exploit his blood resurrection powers in order to become strong enough to protect his clan from an upcoming war. There's just one problem with Genichiro's plan, and that's that a badass shinobi called Sekiro is sworn to protect the young lord, and nobody messes with... Huh. Okay, Genichiro does indeed kidnap the poor kid right at the start of the game, but never fear, because later on you get the chance to face the dude in a proper boss fight. And we say proper because this time you've been playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice for more than 5 minutes and are much, much better at it. Which means you may only die 20 or 30 times. 40 max. 50. Fighting Genichiro is tough indeed, especially in his second phase, when he takes his top off and summons actual lightning bolts like some kind of boy band Zeus. Beat Genichiro and you'd think your troubles with this muscly clan leader would finally be over. After all, you wouldn't expect anyone to walk away from this. Ow! But just when you think you're clear of Genichiro, he springs back to life and cheeses it over the balcony. At which point you realise, oh no, I'm going to have to fight this dude again, and I bet he's going to be even stronger next time. Remind me again why I'm playing this game. Sure enough, the final boss battle sees you once again facing down Genichiro, who made excellent use of his time away, cooking up a few extra tricks, like a deadly new sword to add to his lineup of fearsome weaponry. As well as a brand new signature move, Grandpa climbs out of hole in neck?
Awarena mangono saing mengaisha.
Yes, that's right, Genichiro really steps his game up in this next boss fight, even going so far as to incubate a carbon copy of his grandfather Ishin inside him, to ensure the survival of the Ashina clan, which seems very likely to work bearing in mind how ridiculously deadly old Papa Ishin is. A gun? Where did he get a gun inside his own grandson? Maybe behind a lung?
Sometimes it's good to grab a problem by the horns, although we strongly advise you don't do that if the problem that the horns are attached to is a very angry monster man. The monster man in question is King Bulblin, the very large leader of the Bulblins who looks like someone took a Brussels sprout and drew an angry face on it. He's a formidable opponent, especially atop his oversized steed who is confusingly called Lord Bulbin. I bet they're always getting each other's post. After King Bulblin kidnaps your friend, you face a horseback battle with him and his Bulblin minions, whittling down his armour and their numbers. It's a thrilling chase and you eventually corner the king on the Bridge of Eldin. Now you have him exactly where you want hit. Wow, Link. Good job Epona can't tell anyone about this. But you do eventually knock the king off his mount and into the valley below, meaning you never ever have to see his stupid sprout face again. Until you bump into him on another bridge. But surely that's the last and final encounter. How many bridges are there in this stupid kingdom? So when you sneak into the Bulblin camp, the last thing you expect to see is the Bulblin king, given that he's now fallen off 2 bridges minimum, and those are just the ones that we know about. But here he is with 2 broken horns and a bit of a grudge against Bulbins and you. Fighting him on foot is tricky and really emphasises the size difference between King Bulblin and Link, and between Link and King Bulblin's really massive axe. Right now, you're probably wishing that King Bulblin would just f*** off, but off he does not f***. Instead, he shows up for yet another showdown in the courtyard of Hyrule Castle. Play? And hang on, did you just fall off another bridge? He's a tricky opponent in a duel with a wide reach that forces you to dance around and hit him in the back like the true hero Link is. This is, however, the very final time, because after you beat him here, Bulblin admits defeat and even says he's going to join your side. Not too valuable an ally, seeing as he's never more than 1 minute from falling off a bridge.
Oh my gosh, it's you! How? Why?
Right again, little one. I am Blue, the creator of this land, the lord of this world. Oh, how trivial, how inconsequential do heroes look from where I stand.
Everyone needs a mentor, someone experienced to learn from and look up to, both humble and wise. Someone like me, so why does no one take my advice? Why, Mike?
I don't know.
Someone who knows all about having a mentor is Joe, the cartoonish hero of overcranked 2D beat-em-up Beautiful Joe. At the start of the game, Joe is sucked into a movie where he meets and is forced to fight his screen idol Captain Blue, who tests Joe's strength in a series of boss battles.
If you overcome this trial, you will have acquired the last power. Now let's get this over with.
Captain Blue is no slouch, breaking out powerful electric attacks, lightning-quick teleportation, and the ironclad self-confidence to not care about the fact that his belly is poking out of his costume in an unflattering manner. Ultimately though, he's not too tricky, being a tutorial boss designed to let you practice your moves.
The beautiful moves and techniques that flourish from your heroic gut instincts. Exploit them for good deeds and save this world.
All of which makes it fairly surprising when, at the end of the game, you have another boss fight with Captain Blue, now revealed to be the villain of the whole game and restyled as a king?
Me, King Blue!
He's also, and I believe video gaming is the only medium in which this sentence fails to raise an eyebrow, now the size of a continent. What follows is a totally ludicrous boss battle, with a much changed Captain Blue, that you'll barely have time to acknowledge the weirdness of because you're so preoccupied trying to get out of the way of his gigantic attacks, and not think about how many innocent people you're doubtless crushing underfoot with every step. As if that wasn't enough, this latter battle has a second phase, back at normal size, but with Blue now rocking a shredded set of abs, plus attacks you'll need quicksilver fast reflexes to avoid. Doesn't really matter though, because Joe has already unleashed the most devastating attack of all, the one sentence every mentor dreads hearing the most.
Captain, King Blue, you used to be cool. Now, you're nothing but a loser.
Absolutely savage.
What are you still doing here, Mike? I'm sorry about him.
Probably no boss in video game history has ever come back fighting more often than Bowser, in spite of the fact that every time he does, he ends up either defeated, banished, or humiliated in front of his son.
Junior, I've got something difficult to tell you about Princess Peach.
I know, she's not really my mama.
A prime example of Bowser's resilience comes in Mario Odyssey. In this game, your first fracas with this scaly villain takes place in the clouds, as Mario tries to foil a besooted Bowser's plan to steal and marry Peach, who's already decked out in full wedding dress, even though you're not supposed to see the bride before the ceremony. You're also not supposed to kidnap the bride before the ceremony, but I guess Bowser's not a big one for tradition. Unless it's tradition to keep mechanized boxing gloves in your wedding hat, which is Bowser's primary means of fighting you, arguably an error in an adventure whose main theme is Mario taking control of hats. Bowser has a few extra attacks, like these smallish expanding fire circles and easily identified decoy hats, but nothing to trouble you once you get the hang of walloping him with his own headwear. Indeed, Mario's only real mistake is to punch Bowser back onto his ship, from whence he can make an easy escape, instead of, say, punching him into the sea or punching him to death. I'm just saying, does Mario have a no-kill rule? Because it feels like he doesn't. But Mario's mercy is not rewarded because guess what? Bowser comes back at the end of the game with a serious combat glow-up. Most notably, he now uses a screen-filling, hard-to-avoid fire breath attack, which frankly is weird that he held back, seeing as breathing deadly fire is kind of Bowser's whole deal. Bowser is much, much stronger this second time around and will whittle your health down double quick if you're not careful. He does make one mistake though. For some reason, he sticks with the boxing glove hat gambit which backfired so calamitously last time, which results in the King of the Koopas being punched so hard with his own gadget that all his clothes fall off. Maybe Bowser invested all of the Koopa Kingdom's funds into this punching hat product and now money's too tight to back out. Plus, he's got a wedding to pay for. He's under a lot of pressure.
Becoming Becoming a parent is a big deal, so it's understandable that some people will feel a bit nervous about it happening to them when they're not quite ready. But Vincent, in Bizarre Block Puzzler Catherine, seems to be more nervous than others about fatherhood when he has a nightmare about this monstrosity.
Stay away from me!
Clearly a newborn, but speaking already? Vincent, you should be proud. There's no way to pacify this demon spawn, even with a giant pacifier. So it's up to you to get Vincent to the safety of the top of the tower, keeping out of reach of its grabby hands and shockwave attack. Shockwave attack? Already? So advanced. But once you get to the top, it's beaten back by the light and it falls away forever.
I did it! It's gone!
Oh, it's gone? Vincent, you clearly haven't been paying attention to this list. A few nightmare block-filled nights of sleep later and, well...
There is no way!
Yup, the baby is back, and this time it has a chainsaw. Okay, I'm no expert on childcare, but I'm pretty sure that those are not suitable for children under 3 years. So what I'm saying is that is one gifted baby. This baby having access to logging equipment makes your journey up the tower more perilous than before. This time, whole sections of it disappear, blocks fall from the sky trying to crush you, and buzzsaws buzz their way around it trying to mince you into tiny pieces. At least when you get to the top, you know you're safe and never have to look at the nightmare baby again.
No good can come of cloning. Just look at Dolly the sheep. What's she planning? More proof, as if it were needed, comes via the spectacularly named Ninja Gaiden 3: The Ancient Ship of Doom, released in 1991 for the NES, which sees hero Ryu Hayabusa apparently out to kill his CIA operative friend Irene, which doesn't seem very heroic. What gives? What gives is that the crime was perpetrated by a bionoid, a doppelganger of Ryu created by dastardly experiments with something called life energy. And besides copying Ryu's boyish good looks, this sinister duplicate can also transform into a hulking purple ninja, and does so for this early boss fight. The Bionoid is a tough boss who leaps around the screen with an athletic grace and fireball shooting powers. Nevertheless, he can be beat, melting into the ground in a manner that seems very final indeed. So imagine your surprise when later in the game the Bionoid returns for a second boss fight, this time mutated into something even more horrendous and terrifying. This huge beast no longer resembles Ryu in any way, which kind of makes you wonder how effective a doppelganger he really is. But hey, when you're a fireball-spewing slime lobster, I guess you make the rules. With an alarming new charge attack, the Bionoid's second form is a tricky fight, serving as an example both of a boss who came back harder and stronger, and a reminder of the dangers of meddling with cloning. Which is why we need to stop Dolly!
I think she's been dead since 2003.
Oh, and you believe that, do you?
So those are some bosses that didn't go away and instead came back. Like, no, we finished you off first time. Finished the end. Don't come back. But you should come back. Don't leave. You should let us know in the comments. Any bosses that you had to fight more than once and the second time was like so much harder. But also, you should stay on this channel just in general and watch some other videos from us. Here we've got Show of the Weekend, our weekly show where we talk about video games and such. We do silly quizzes and crafting and make things, and it's a really fun time. And then Show of the Week over on Outside Xbox, which is also full of lovely, fun, video gamey, chatty stuff. And hopefully you'll like it. Subscribe. Bye.